For more details on this, I want to bring in Paula Scanlon now, former collegiate swimmer, a spokeswoman for the Independent Women's Forum. She joins us on the phone. Paula, good to have you back with us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Nice to have you here. Tell us about Take Back Title IX, the point of the bus tour, and what people can expect tomorrow in D.C.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're so excited to be back in D.C. Obviously, it's a huge stop for us. We have a lot of great speakers coming. Martina Navratilova is one of the big names that'll be there tomorrow, if that excites some people. But the entire purpose of what's been going on is this month of June, notably Pride Month. We've gone around the country, the entire country. I mean, I don't even know how many cities I've been in at this point. And we're raising awareness to what's happening to Title IX. If for those listening that are unfamiliar, the Biden administration has tried to rewrite Title IX that essentially says that sex is equivalent to gender identity, meaning if you identify as a woman, you can take all female opportunities, and that includes sports teams. But this is not just about athletes. It actually also includes academic scholarships as well as bathrooms, locker rooms, even dorms. If you show up to college thinking that you're in a female-only dorm, you can show up and have your roommate be a man. And so we're raising awareness to these issues that are happening, and obviously it's going to go into effect on August 1st is the date that it's supposed to start. So that's why it's so urgent that we do it now and we do it in the month of June, and we make sure the public is aware of what's happening and get people loud and have people tell their representatives they don't agree with this.
Right. So the Biden administration's position is that being a woman is merely made up and that it's in your head. That's an all-out attack on women.
Exactly. And what's so shocking to me about it is how many women don't see it as that. I don't care how you stand politically. I don't care if you're on the right, you're on the left, you're somewhere not on the spectrum, you're in the middle. I don't really care. If you're a person, you should have an issue with this. It's not just women, because everybody has a woman in their life. And this is not just athletes. This is going to deny girls the opportunity to go to college at all. It's taking away academic scholarships, right? They can award these academic scholarships to boys. And it's just crazy. And the fact that the public is not aware of this and they're trying to pretend that this is not happening is the most concerning part.
I love the bus, by the way. I'm seeing images of the bus. It says Protect Women's Sports. It has a series of pictures of so many female athletes on the side of it. Very cool to see. And it says Take Back Title IX. What I was troubled to see, though, was during a stop this past week at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, that some ghouls apparently in the dead of night came out and they vandalized the whole bus. They put graffiti all over the bus that included such phrases as trans women are women, protect trans kids, that would be advocating for child mutilation, hate group, and bigots on board. Another said that it was a transphobic bus. Somebody hung a blue and white transgender flag near the bus. The bus was egged. What can you tell us about this? Now, you park a bus, you're trying to advocate for women, and you're under attack.
You know, I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked this did not happen sooner, because the other side only has the tactics of being hateful and leaving things. If they would like to have commentary and saying, you know, this is the reason why I think people who identify as women should be able to compete in women's sports, we would have that conversation. If you're going to leave commentary about that on the bus, go for it. I'd be happy to read it. But they don't have science on their side on this issue. So the only thing they have left to do is to attack us. And I honestly, for me, it's so sad. Could you imagine waking up in the middle of the night and saying, let's go, write graffiti on a bus? Like, could you imagine that being your reality? And that's just what makes me sad about those on the other side of this issue, is that they really don't have anything other than attacking us and just calling us names and just writing mean things.
Yes.
And it's sad. It's really just sad.
Has that really been your experience throughout all of this, Paula Scanlon? That you haven't found anybody who advocates for allowing men to take opportunities from women? There's not a single one who wants to have a reason to debate on the subject, because they seem to be, they moralize about it constantly. You would think that they'd be willing to sit down and talk with you.
I mean, I've done my fair share of campus speeches. I get questions. I think the only thing that they tell me is that I'm going to contribute to somebody committing suicide if I don't allow them to play sports. And my answer to that is, I'm really sorry that that is someone's experience, that if they're not allowed to undress in a locker room with a bunch of girls as a man, that they would kill themselves. I don't think that that's a valid argument. And I also think that's just emotionally manipulative. That shows you have no other background. And that is the common, and as crazy as that is to bring up, that is really the common place that they go. They if you notice on the bus, they actually wrote Next Benedict Life Mattered or something. That's the kid who identified as non-binary or something that was killed in or committed suicide in Oklahoma, and they say that all of us on the that are speaking against this issue, her death is our fault. They wrote that on the bus, so it shows they're trying to use that same tactic.
Yeah, it's like a form of moral blackmail. If you don't let me violate you or your spaces, if you don't let me steal your opportunities, I'm going to kill myself. What is that?
I don't know, but it's the common, and again, that's the most common argument that I've heard, which is just, again, I don't even know at this point. I'm just like, I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. There's nothing to really argue back and forth about that, or even to debate, and there's no productive conversation there. It's just we're clearly on such different levels of logic that there's just not really a conversation to be had with people like that.
The event you and I are talking about, Paula Scanlon, tomorrow, Our Bodies, Our Sports, Take Back Title IX Summer 2024 Bus Tour, arrives at the Bullpen. That's just right across the street from Nationals Park tomorrow, Tuesday. It's going to be the doors open there at 5:30, and the program begins at 6 o'clock. Paula, I imagine, based on what you just said, we're going to hear from a lot of great athletes who are going to talk about the importance of protecting women.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of speakers. I will be there. Riley Gaines will be there. Martina Navratilova will be there. A bunch of other athletes that have been vocal on this issue. I think it's going to be one of our best stops yet. So if you're in the D.C. area, I would not miss it. I mean, again, opportunities to see some of your favorite people, have a great time. Obviously, the Bullpen is a great location. Love the area down there in D.C., so I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a great list here. I see Selena Sol is on there. A lot of people remember her time, track and field star. You're gonna have a lot of great speakers. There's also a musical performance tomorrow by Alexis Wilkins from Nashville. So that should be a good event, and it's so important. I really do think that the reality of this is lost on a lot of people, certainly in the media, but broadly throughout the country, because there's not that many people who are willing to vocalize what you're saying, Paula, which is what you're witnessing really is an all-out attack on women.
Yeah, and the thing that's so sad is the polling shows us that 85% at least of people agree with us on this issue. So it's really just about mobilizing people to get vocal. And I think that the misconception is a lot of people come up to me or they message me and they say, I'm just one person. What is my opinion on this matter?
Yeah.
It's about just being comfortable saying that with the people around you, right? I'm not asking anyone to go write tweets on Twitter or go on the news and then share this opinion, but to just have that opinion in your small circle of people, you can let other people talk about it, who will then invite more people to talk about it. And before we know it, it's going to be everyone saying the same things, everyone writing letters to their various politicians,
yes,
or empower even the person that ends up being a really big voice that does go on the news. So that's what I always tell people, that these changes come from the grassroots. These changes come from the everyday people. They don't necessarily come from people like myself and Riley and others who are super vocal. And so that's why it's, again, so important for us to engage the public on this issue.
Paula, how much progress do you think you're making here? I wonder, because there certainly are kids who are participating in sports all across the country at various levels, whether it's at the community level or in their schools or certainly in the college level. Are you beginning to notice that more people are speaking up and saying, no, a boy cannot participate in girls' sports? No, a man cannot participate in women's sports? Are you seeing leadership on this issue, or are people still pretty quiet about it?
No, I would say, when I was first going through this, there was no resources for me. I didn't know anyone to talk to about this. I was super isolated. Now I work at the Independent Women's Forum, where I have a whole team of women that are working on this issue. I've met so many other activists from other organizations as well that are speaking up on this issue. So I'm very encouraged. I think, honestly, the most encouraging thing I will say is that we are starting to see groups from the left side of the aisle speaking up, right? There's these sort of more feminist, traditionally feminist groups that are speaking up. Martina Navratilova, obviously lifelong Democrat, she's speaking up on this issue. And I think that is really where I know that this is going to win, because if we have people on both sides of the political spectrum, when today everything is divisive, right?
Yeah.
That's how I know this is going to be super successful. So that's what gives me hope. And again, seeing the diversity of people that are speaking up on this, all ages, all backgrounds, everything, I think that's how I know that this will be successful. And again, we've passed laws in 26 states now, have state level legislation to prevent males from competing in women's sports. So that is incredibly hopeful, and I know there's going to be more states coming down the line that are going to pass legislation as well.
Martina Navratilova, of course, has the courage of her convictions, and she is a legitimately big star to come out and speak on this issue, for sure. But I do wonder, I'm like, where are the rest of the kind of those A-list female celebrities who are out there? I still don't know why the Williams sisters haven't spoken out about this, or why. Maybe even Caitlin Clark, as much as I like her, I kind of wish she would. I know she's just starting a professional career. Maybe she's like, oh, I don't want to say something. Say it, baby. Now's the time. Katie Ledecky, who's like, is about to swim in a couple weeks right here in the Olympics. I'm waiting for her to come out and say something. Do you ever hope that they'll join you, Paula?
I do, but you know what I will say is there's silence on this issue, right? They're not saying, I support these trans athletes. Like Katie Ledecky, for example, has not made a statement saying that she supports Leah Thomas's NCAA championship win, right? I think that silence does show us where they stand. And unfortunately, I think we're sort of in a situation now where these people have sponsors, and their sponsors are going to drop them if they speak out about this. And again, it's very easy for us everyday people to just say, well, forget about them, drop the sponsorship. But that can look at, you're going to have a hard time being able to afford to go to these competitions. You're going to have a hard time being able to compete in the Olympics and do what your job is. And so I think that my biggest answer to that part is we have to start building up brands that will sponsor these athletes that have our values that we know we can depend on, and we won't have athletes worried about losing their livelihood if they simply say, I don't want a man to compete in my sport.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's a lot of forces who are involved here, and that's a big piece of this. Paula Scanlon, thank you so much for your time today. Paula is going to be part of this. You got the Take Back Title IX Summer 2024 bus tour right here in Washington, D.C. Going to be arriving there tomorrow at the Bullpen right across from Nationals Park. The event begins at 6 o'clock. Doors open at 5:30. Paula, thank you so much.